Hey guys, Tyler here, and thank you for checking out my latest Marksman Hunter guide, this time for 12.1, The Curse of Ula'tek, and the second season of Midnight. In this video, I'll give you all the information you need to succeed on your Marksman Hunter, including builds, stat priorities, rotations, and tips for both hero talents, Dark Ranger, and Sentinel. Marksman is currently one of the better DPS specs in all three phases of the game, and Sentinel is a very smooth playing experience, making this the perfect time to pick up your bow, mark your target, and let those arrows soar. Let's get started.
Mr. Eggplant presents.
There will be timestamps in the description of the video for each section, as well as the build strings found in this video. Blizzard has released a tuning schedule for the first time for Season 2, so some things may change throughout the coming months. So, like with all YouTube guides, some things can and will change, so just look for those in the pinned comment and the description of this video. And while you're checking out the description, you can also find an invitation to my Discord server and information on the weak aura replacements I've been tinkering with using the in-game cooldown tracker. All macros I use are found down there as well, where you can copy and paste them from the Discord right into your game. So what's new in 12.1? Well, remember that ability that was a whole lot of fun in the War Within Season 2 and Season 3 that they decided to remove at the beginning of Midnight, only to bring back in 12.05? What was that again? Oh yeah, Explosive Shot. Well, it's been redesigned. It is now a central part of every single one of our builds and is even boosted with our tier set bonuses for Season 2, but more on that in just a minute. Explosive Shot now does ticking AoE damage every second for a base of 3 seconds up to a max of 5 seconds, closer resembling what Survival Hunters had back in Cataclysm, particularly in the Dragon Soul tier. Oh, what a good time that was. A new talent was also added, which is Unstable Trigger, which will allow you to cast Explosive Shot again within 3 seconds of casting it the first time. This is a great way to pump extra Explosive Shot damage into those juicy, huge pulls in Mythic Plus. This shares a choice node with Tactical Reload, which gives a lock and load proc when you use your Explosive Shot. If you're getting back into Marksman Hunter or are just brand new to the spec in general, I would highly suggest running with Tactical Reload regardless of what I tell you later. It smooths out the rotation and is beginner friendly. Our trees have had talents that have moved around, including the choice node of Tenacity and Cunning not being required to get to True Shot, not being forced to pick Aspect of the Hydra or Trick Shots in single target, and the removal of Double Tap and Headshot. PvPers rejoice, particularly healers. Other than Explosive Shot, our other big changes was to our Apex talents. Our main talent was changed, no longer granting our aim shot a guaranteed crit. I know it's sad for a lot of people, but it's better for the health of the spec long term. Our Apex talents now boost rapid fire damage and reward us for doing our rotation correctly, and more on that in a later section. And finally, Bulletstorm is redesigned so you don't have to worry about tracking the Bulletstorm window anymore, and it now increases the damage of your next aim shot by 20%, and it can be up to the next 2 aim shots with another talent point. And finally, our filler abilities Steady Shot and Auto Shot do significantly increase damage in Season 2. Oh, and also, they changed the icon of aim shot. Hate that. Anyway, on to the next section. This section is normally at the very end of my videos, but I've completely replaced my weak auras with the in-game cooldown tracker. I have an 8-minute video, and there is a link to it that can be found down in the description of this and all of my videos that will walk you through how to set them up from start to finish. I highly recommend them, and they add so much value to my play. I had always used very basic weak auras, so they just track certain buffs like True Shot, Trick Shots, and Bullseye stacks, and it can be completely customized and moved around to your liking. Before we get into our builds and stat priorities, let's take a look at our tier set bonuses for Season 2 of Midnight. The Catalyst is changed in Season 2, meaning that your gear will keep the stats and cantrips of the original item. Set bonuses are better than perfect item stats, but try to prioritize crit and mastery gear when using the Catalyst this season. Our 2 set bonus increases the damage of our Explosive Shot by 5% and increases its duration by 1 second. And our 4 set bonus increases our aim shot and rapid fire damage by 5% and lowers the remaining cooldown of aim shot and rapid fire by 1/2 second every time an Explosive Shot ticks. They're pretty straightforward and don't change our rotation at all, and the 4 pieces you'll want to use are the helm, chest, shoulders, and gloves. And thanks to the changes with the Catalyst, there's a great crit and mastery item in almost all 5 slots. Next up is Embellishments. In Season 1, I talked about how the World Tender set and the Arcano Weave Lining ×2 were pretty close damage-wise, with the small edge going to World Tenders. In Season 2, we can finally commit to Arcano Weave Lining ×2 to give us flexibility with our embellishment slots. Arcano Weave also buffs random party members, which is also a plus. And for your embellishments, I would suggest crafting Arcano Weave Lining on your crafted belt and bracers made from leatherworking. If you play on the Zangarmarsh server cluster, send my hunter Greeley your order and I'll get it made for you. Rank 5 every time. Next up is our stat priority, and regardless of which flavor of Marksman Hunter you want to play, our stat priority will be the same. Our stat priority will go Agility, which is our main stat, then Critical Strike, then Mastery, Versatility, and finally Haste. You'll see that Haste and Versatility have swapped positions since Midnight's launch and then halfway through Season 1, but Crit is still king. There's really no bad secondary stats on our Marksman Hunter though, so as long as your gear has crit on it, you should be good to go. With priority of course to crit and mastery items. And with our aim shot no longer critting 100% of the time, crit is just that much more important in Season 2 than it was in Season 1. This next section is our talent builds, and the string for each will be found down in the description of the video. Sentinel is the better of the two hero talent specs, at least for now, but I'll add both Dark Ranger and Sentinel options in the description of the video. There will be different situational picks, particularly in the general hunter tree based on the content or the fight at hand, but as long as you're picking your defensives and your damaging abilities, you'll be good to go. This first build is a really solid delve/open world build with a pet by your side. It's going to prioritize short burst AoE while giving your pet some survivability and give you movement speed. If you're looking for a new pet to add to your team, be sure and check out the hundreds of pets I have available in my pet tame videos on the channel, link in the description down below. The second build on screen is my Mythic Plus /AoE build, which maximizes your single target damage for priority targets and bosses, while still doing great damage on trash. Last tier, Dark Ranger was the way to go, but this tier, Sentinel is back on top. This is a fun build that is smooth to play and is not too difficult to master. It's packed with a ton of explosives and free lock and load procs, perfect for those getting back into the Marksman Hunter playstyle. And the final build is my single target build for Raid. It's pretty straightforward and doesn't change much from the AoE version of the build. If you need to cleave in Raid, you'll simply move one talent point to do that, either adding Aspect of the Hydra or Trick Shots and dropping Obsidian Arrowhead. Up next we have our opener rotations. It's important to get the most out of our openers because that's where Marksman Hunters do a majority of our damage every 2 minutes during True Shot. The goal of both openers is to get a good flow going and make sure almost all of our precise shot procs are used. For your single target opener as a Sentinel Marksman Hunter, you'll want to put Hunter's Mark on the target pre-pull, then with about 2 seconds left on the pull timer, cast Aim Shot, then Explosive Shot ×2, Volley, True Shot, Rapid Fire to start your Bullet Storm stacks, then use said Bullet Storm stacks with Aim Shot, then Arcane Shot, Moonlight Chakram that gives lock and load, Aim Shot, Arcane Shot, Aim Shot, and so on. Shot, shot, shot. If Rapid Fire does reset during this, use it while you have an Aim Shot charge on cooldown. And if you're not running with Unstable Trigger, use the free Aim Shot after every explosive shot and after every volley, then do the rest of the opener. For Dark Ranger, you'll put Hunter's Mark on the target pre-pull, and then start to cast your Aim Shot with approximately 2 seconds left on the pull timer. Then use Black Arrow, then Explosive Shot ×2, Volley, True Shot, Aim Shot, Black Arrow, Rapid Fire, Black Arrow, and so on. And if you're using an Algathar puzzle box from Season 1, since it still sims so high and hasn't received a nerf like the other Season 1 trinkets, you'll want to start the cast with approximately 4 seconds left on the pull timer before you pre-cast your Aim Shot. And for your AoE Sentinel opener, you'll want to put Hunter's Mark on the target pre-pull, then use Explosive Shot ×2, preferably on 2 different targets, then Volley, True Shot, Rapid Fire, Multi-Shot, Aim Shot, Multi-Shot, Moonlight Chakram, Aim Shot, Multi-Shot, and so on. And if you get a Rapid Fire proc, make sure you have Trick Shots up before you cast it and use it on cooldown. You typically don't have enough time to add Explosive Shot in the True Shot window, so always cast it beforehand. And just like with single target, if you're not running with Unstable Trigger, use the free Aim Shot after Explosive Shot and after each volley, and then do the rest of the opener, but with Trick Shots up so you can cleave. And then finally, our Dark Ranger AoE isn't too different from its single target counterpart. And in fact, most Marksman Hunter rotations are very similar regardless of what you're doing. Use Aim Shot to get precise shots, spin precise shots, rinse and repeat. For AoE, you'll want to put Hunter's Mark on the target pre-pull, then use Explosive Shot ×2, preferably on 2 different targets. Then Volley, Black Arrow, True Shot, Rapid Fire, Black Arrow, Aim Shot, and so on. And if you get a proc of Black Arrow, use it in place of Multi-Shot so you can cleave. And just like in single target, if you're not running with Unstable Trigger, use the free Aim Shot after every Explosive Shot and after every volley, and then do the rest of the opener, but with Trick Shots up first so you can cleave. Next up, we have our rotation priority, and we'll start off with Sentinel. And with the builds I use in this video, you'll be able to master both single target and AoE with the same priorities. You'll just use multi-shot instead of arcane shot when spinning your precise shot procs. And out of the 2 hero talent specs, Sentinel is considered much more fluid and easier to play, and there's no reacting needed like Dark Ranger. So number 1, Explosive Shot is back in a big way, being boosted by our tier set bonuses after its redesign in 12.1. Use your Explosive Shot on cooldown, and if you're taking Unstable Trigger, cast it again right away. From there, use your Volley on cooldown. Volley will give Explosive Shots in both builds thanks to Salvo. After that, use your True Shot on cooldown. The best thing to do is have an Aim Shot ready to go and in the chamber before you use it, and if you're in AoE, have Trick Shots up before you cast it so you can go right into your next Aim Shot cast. And you can delay this in single target until you've completely stacked up your Bullseye crit window for max damage. From there, use your Moonlight Chakram as filler during your True Shot when you don't have a full set of Aim Shot charges, because it'll provide lock and load in both builds. True Shot will transform into Moonlight Chakram after it's used, and an AoE Chakram will bounce to other targets, and you have access to 1 use of Chakram during your True Shot window. You'll want to have Trick Shots up before it when you use that proc in AoE. From here, use your Kill Shot on cooldown to consume a stack of precise shots. You won't be taking this talent in AoE, but in single target, if you can cast it with precise shots, you should. It's only available when the target is below 20% health, and you basically use it instead of casting Arcane Shot when available. Speaking of precise shots, you'll want to spend every one of your precise shot procs, or at least try to. They happen after each aim shot and each rapid fire. They reduce the remaining cooldown of your next aim shot charge, and they proc your Lunar Storm damage. For single target, you'll use Arcane Shot or Kill Shot in execute phase, and for AoE, you'll use Multi-Shot. And Multi-Shot will also give you Trick Shots in AoE, which will allow you to cleave. Then, use your Rapid Fire on cooldown. This will give you stacks of Bulletstorm and a proc of precise shots. Bulletstorm now increases the damage of your next 1 or 2 aim shots by 20%. Apex talents will allow each hit of your Rapid Fire to also lower the remaining cooldown of your next aim shot charge by ½ second each. And in AoE, make sure you have Trick Shots up first. And next up is our hardest hitting ability, Kind of crazy, it's all the way down here. But use your aim shot so you don't cap out on charges. This will give you a proc of precise shots and also drives your rotation and your overall damage. And in AoE, make sure you use multi-shot first so you can cleave thanks to trick shots or have volley up. And finally, use steady shot as needed for focus regeneration and to lower the remaining cooldown of your next aim shot charge. If you ever find yourself with nothing to cast, simply use steady shot. So now that we've seen both openers for Dark Ranger, let's move on to the rotation priority in between burst windows. So first off, use Black Arrow on cooldown, but only when you have precise shot procced in single target, and in AoE, if there are 3 targets hit by Bleak Powder, which is the small burst of damage that does on impact, you'll proc trick shots, if talented of course. From there, use your explosive shot on cooldown, and if you're taking unstable trigger, cast it again right away for max damage. From there, use your volley on cooldown, and volley will give explosive shots in both builds thanks to salvo. After that, use your true shot on cooldown. The best thing to do is have an aim shot ready to go before you use it, and if you're in AoE, have trick shots up before you cast it so you can go right into your next aim shot cast. You can delay this in single target until you're at max bullseye stacks for max damage. And when using True Shot, use any Black Arrow procs you already have beforehand because it'll automatically give you another for free. Then, use Rapid Fire on cooldown. This will give you stacks of Bulletstorm and a proc of precise shots. Bulletstorm now increases the damage of your next 1 or 2 aim shots by 20%. Apex talents will allow each hit of Rapid Fire to also lower the remaining cooldown of your next aim shot charge by a half second each. And in AoE, make sure you have trick shots up every time before using it. And speaking of those precise shots, you'll want to spend every one of your precise shot procs, or at least try to. They happen after each aim shot and each rapid fire, and they reduce the remaining cooldown of your next aim shot charge. For single target, you'll use it on Arcane Shot or Black Arrow, and for AoE, you'll use it on Multi-Shot or Black Arrow if procced. This is the hardest part of AoE for players new to Dark Ranger. It feels very weird to play and you do have to be pretty reactive, but once you realize the rotation is just a single target rotation, you'll get the hang of it. Use your Wailing Arrow as filler during your True Shot when you have an aim shot charge ready to go and you don't have a Black Arrow proc. True Shot will transform into Wailing Arrow after it's used. Wailing Arrow gives you an AoE silence and a Deathblow proc and does not interact with volley or trick shots. So when I'm going to cast it, I'll get trick shots, then cast it, then aim shot, then use the Black Arrow proc. And next up is our hardest hitting ability, and again, just like with Sentinel, it's weird that it's all the way down here. But use your aim shot so you don't cap out on charges. This will give you precise shots buffs, and it also drives your rotation and your damage. In an AoE, make sure you use multi-shot first so you can cleave thanks to trick shots. And finally, use steady shot as needed for focus regeneration and to lower the remaining cooldown of your next aim shot charge. If you ever find yourself with nothing to cast or nothing to do, use steady shot. So next up is the early items to aim for in Season 2. It's important to prioritize the most impactful items early in Season 2 if you're looking to push and progress quickly. For Season 2, I would suggest prioritizing the following items: the lustrous golden plumage until you can get the voracious heart of Ula'tek, any highest item level possible weapon, the sin-seared repeater or the caustic repose greatbow fit nicely here, Zul'jin's guillotine technique, a Kirbane reliquary, and the 2 BIS rings of the Charged Sandstone Band and the Signet of Snarling Servitude. Ula'tek, who has many very strong items, and she is the final boss of the raid, is not super easy to target in the first couple of weeks of a tier. Because of that, I would hold your bonus rolls to use exclusively on her and focus your efforts on the rings, your weapon options, and specifically the lustrous golden plumage that you can all farm very easy from Mythic Plus at a hero track item level. Next up is the Omnium Folio, which is borrowed player power that was added in 12.07 that we'll have for the rest of the expansion. If you're new to the game in 12.1, I have a guide on the Omnium Folio for your Marksman Hunter, and it'll be found down in the description of the video if you want to check it out. The Omnium Folio is account-wide, so if you've unlocked it on one character, you've unlocked it on all of them. And for your Marksman Hunter, you'll want to run the Rune of Unleashed Fire as your core rune, then Rune of Self-Mending, Rune of Lingering, you don't get a choice there, then Rune of Critical Power, and finally Rune of Overload. This build adds a small amount of damage, but more importantly, a crit steroid, and you'll use the same build for all situations on both Dark Ranger and Sentinel. We've done the hard work, now let's put the final touches on our gear with enchantments and consumables. Max rank is required, especially now that pricing is going down rapidly. And we have seen a shakeup with a few of these since Season 1, thanks to the changes with our Apex talents in 12.1. So for your weapon, you'll want to use Generalized Precision, for your helm, Empowered Hex of Leeching, for shoulders, Silver Moon's Mending, for boots, Saladrasil's Roots, for chest, Mark of the World Soul, for legs, Forest Hunter's Armor Kit, and for your rings, Eyes of the Eagle. And the consumables we'll want to collect on our Marksman Hunter will be the Powerful Eversong Diamond for your Thalassian Diamond, for your gems, one each of the Deadly Lapis, Deadly Amethyst, Deadly Peridot, and the rest will be socketed with Masterful Garnets, all of the flawless variety. For your flask, Flask of the Shattered Sun, we have a new combat potion in town, which is the Potion of Recklessness. For your health potion, another new healing potion, which will be the Concentrated Silver Moon Health Potion. For your weapon oil, Thalassian Phoenix Oil, and finally your food buff will be the Royal Roast. And last but not least, we have the macros I use on my Marksman Hunter. I don't use many, but I would recommend adding a no channeling macro to most of your abilities so they don't interrupt or clip your rapid fire channel. And those can be found on my Discord in the macro/build/CD tracker section. And that's it for another guide. I've had a ton of fun playing Dark Ranger in the back half of Season 1, and I'm excited to give Sentinel another go in Season 2. It's a very smooth and fun playstyle, and I hope that we can continue with the momentum going into the Venomous Abyss. I hope that you guys have found something of value to take away from my guide, and I would love to get your feedback. What did you like? What didn't you like? What should I add? What should I remove? I strive to make content that you guys want to see here on YouTube. What would you like to see change with Marksman Hunters in future seasons? Leave me a comment down below. I'll be documenting my progression each and every week in a video series if you'd like to go along for the ride. So best of luck to you in PvP, Mythic Plus, raiding, whatever you do in this game, and I'll see you in my next guide, most likely in 12.1.5.